Hey everyone, welcome back to my game dev journey. Last time, I shared how I got into game development and the lessons I learned from creating our first game, a Pac-Man clone. Today, we're kicking off the real Devlog series with a new project that hits closer to home, a simple tower defense game. Let's dive right in. About a week or two before we finished our Pac-Man clone, I found myself playing Kingdom Rush on my phone as a way to kill time. I've never played it before. It was a breath of fresh air. Simple, classic, fun, and satisfying to play. After a few levels, I knew this was it. Our next learning project had to be a tower defense game. We went straight to the drawing board. To start, I found a template on Notion. And by the way, if you struggle with staying organized, Notion has lots of useful features and looks very cool. Before getting to work on the project in Unity, we first established the scope, gameplay, design, and mechanics so that we are fully prepared to begin this project. We struggled with organization in our previous project, slowing down our progress and even morale. So we prioritized it this time around and came up with this beauty. Everything is neatly arranged and so pleasant to look at. All gameplay mechanics were thought out and written down in detail. We made sure to be ready, and after that, we created the project roadmap, like our previous project, but now in Notion, which is so much easier to format and customize. Highly recommended. After that, I did a bunch of studying of design patterns and incorporated a few in our new project, the most important of which being Scriptable objects. For those who do not know what they are, they make your project more organized and also simplify your data creation. Want to create a new enemy with completely different stats, but want them to be organized in one single place? Click, click, and click. It's that easy and infinitely customizable. They are a must for your game. There are lots of tutorials out there on their uses and limitations. I will include a few that helped me in the description. Next, we decided to use class inheritance to further organize our code, while also learning scalability and good writing practices. We will need 3 base superclasses, one for towers, one for enemies, and one for projectiles, which will need to contain the base functionalities. For example, all towers will need the functionality to be placed, upgraded, and attack enemies in their range. Now all towers that are to be created just extend the base tower class, and now they have all the base functionalities needed and can be modified very easily. It's a must for organizing bigger games. To avoid all scripts referencing each other in a big jumbled mess, we plan to connect everything to special managers so that all scripts and game objects can be accessed in one place. After lots of researching and preparing, we were finally ready to begin our project. This time around, I took a stab at pixel art, and so I came up with this beauty. Okay, yeah, I know it's horrible, but your first iteration will always be bad, but that also means it can only get better from there. Now, my buddy and I decided to split up the workload as such. I will do all tower functionality, and he will do all the enemy functionality. So then, I began with creating the tower placing manager. Its main function is to check for clicks on the map and decide if you're allowed to place a tower there or not. So for the tower placing logic, we decided for towers to be able to be placed anywhere on the grass. Still, they can only be placed in a grid, so every square is available, you can only place towers in the tile grid. Although I'm still determining which one is better, so I guess I'll have to wait until playtesting. For now, I left it in the grid system. Next, I added the tower menu, which looks bland, but it works. Eventually I'll change it, but for now, it's good enough. At first, I had it so each button was connected to a specific tower directly, which was a horrible idea and not scalable. So I came up with an ID system, where every button had a corresponding ID number, so towers can be placed just by changing the number of the button ID. Now, finally, for the actual tower placing functionality. I have the tower placer holding a tower list, in which every tower prefab is held. So now, when a button is clicked, the UI manager tells the tower placer which tower to place. where the tower placer places the tower at the mouse position. And then to make sure the tower is in a grid, the numbers are simply rounded to whole numbers. Once I got it working for the first tower, I quickly added another and made sure that worked. Now, I can add as many towers as I like, without worrying about changing any code. The next step is to add upgrades. I quickly made a simple upgrade menu, just like the place menu, but after that, I ran into my first big issue. The buttons for the upgrade menu do not change when the menu is shown. So then I spent a good hour trying to figure out how I could change the name according to the tower upgrade names. But just as with implementing any other feature in a game, it was way more complicated than it seemed at first. But the solution was to just get the button references and then change the button text depending on the tower upgrade name. It sounds simple, but implementing it was a headache. But mostly because of Text Mesh Pro, as most of the tutorials or documentation online uses the legacy text and not the Text Mesh Pro, so I was just losing my mind for no reason. Now that the upgrade menu works perfectly, it's time for the upgrading itself. I created a new scriptable object type called Tower Upgrade, where there's the name, cost, and upgrade prefab. Then in the base tower script, I added a list of tower upgrades where I can place all the tower upgrades for that tower. And depending on which button you press, it places down the upgrade of that button ID, just like with the tower placing process. Now, at this point in development, my friend added a test enemy, so it was finally time to add tower attack functionality. The base tower class now has a shoot cooldown method that calls shoot depending on its fire rate. Next, I added functionality in the base projectile class, which is just to simply move towards a target and deal damage. Oh, wait, it looks like there's a small issue, and fix it. Alright, it's good. Now it's looking more like a tower defense, but it still has a long way to go. This video is getting a bit long, so I will wrap it up here in the meantime. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy seeing these updates, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. It's the best way to support my journey. And so, I'll see you in my next devlog.